What are some of those top attributes that you think the best leaders really embody well?
Well, I think listening is extremely important. The World Travel and Tourism Conference had a meeting in Dallas this past week, and we had a meeting with the executive committee, and George W. Bush, number 43, came and spoke to us. And they asked him, what was the most important thing a leader needs to go when he walks in the Oval Office? And the first thing out of his mouth was humility. And I thought, wow, that's quite a statement. And he said, yeah, because he said, you can't know everything. You can't do everything yourself. You have to rely on your team. You have to be willing to listen. And I've always told this story about Eisenhower when I was an ensign in the Navy and just come home from Christmas leave. And Eisenhower was down at our family farm with my parents and came down to shoot some quail. And it was cold outside and nobody wanted to go out and shoot quail. And so we were standing around the fire and trying to decide, should we go outside, because we'd put about 50 quail out there in the field for him to shoot. And, he turned around and looked at me and he says, Bill, what do you want to do? What do you think we should do? And I said, wow, here's the commander-in-chief, the guy that won the war in Europe, asking me, an ensign in the Navy, what do I want to do? And I thought about that a lot. And I thought, that's how he won the war. That's how he brought along the big egos he had to deal with. Montgomery and the British Army, and Patton, the U.S. Army, and de Gaulle, a French guy, and all these characters he had to deal with by asking the questions and listening to what they had to say. He didn't always follow what they had to say, but he listened. And the key thing about listening is you get people to support you. If you are a good listener, they will always support you. We had an executive around here several years ago who wouldn't listen. He thought he was the smartest guy in the room, and pretty soon he was the only guy in the room because nobody really wanted to work for this guy. They'd come in with an idea, he'd dismiss it, and parade around and show off his ego, and pretty soon nobody would work for him, and the business started to fail. And so therefore he had to move on, but it was all a matter of not being willing to listen to his team. So he lost them.